Are you in your 50s or even in the early 60s and you had an opportunity to go back in time and change anything from your past, would you? In my 50s, I have learned so many lessons and mistakes that I made in the 50s that now that I'm 62 turning 63, I would absolutely go back and unravel so much of that. I have 7 lessons that I have learned now that has changed my life for the better. And I thought I would share these with you because I hope that you can learn from this. If you are in your 50s and you have an opportunity to shift anything to make your life better in the future, I hope some of this advice helps. I have 7 and I'm going to start with the first one. The first thing I did in my 50s was I thought I was Wonder Woman. I thought I could do anything. You know, the sky was the limit. And I pulled myself so thin that I was coming and going. You know, you talk about burning the candle at both ends, that was me. And so I just felt like I was in overdrive all the time. But I felt like I was capable of doing it because I felt invincible. I was Wonder Woman. But now that I'm in my 60s, that lesson taught me that I should have really slowed down and not tried to do everything. You know, I truly believed I could climb the tallest mountain. And I tried it actually. But, you know, was it worth it? Absolutely not. You know, now I look back upon it and I wish that I hadn't felt so compelled to be everything to everybody and to myself. So, you know, trying to do everything and be Wonder Woman was a huge mistake because I missed so much of life, you know, the simple things. And I just was always putting more and more and more on my plate. So if I could go back in time, that was a great lesson learned. So that was my number 1. My second one is how important I have learned that my friends are. I have 4 girlfriends that we call each other our Yaga sisters because we're there for each other no matter what. And during my 50s, we found each other. And at pivotal points of my life in those 50s, we had parents pass away, we had some spouses pass away in our group, and we were there for each other. But I felt like I met them all the time. We got together once a week. But now that I'm in my 60s, I would have spent more time with my friends and cherishing them, those wonderful moments, especially the critical moments when we were there for each other. But I took that for granted. And now that I'm in my 60s, like if one of them calls me, oh my gosh, I'm on it. You know, whereas back then, you know, maybe 30 minutes later, or if I was driving or I was working, now I will stop and put my friends first because I realize what a treasure they are. And back then, I just saw them every week. It was normal. We got together, we laughed, and now life is so precious. I don't take them for granted, not at all. So I've learned how valuable good friends really, really are at this phase of my life. And if you have good friends, that alone is something to be treasured, and don't take it lightly. If you've got a couple of friends that you love no matter what, and nobody judges each other for anything, you can say anything to each other and you love each other with no judgment, those friends need to really take a front row in your life and become a priority. The next thing I wanted to share with you is I'm an advocate for working out. I have been working out in a gym since I was 17 years old, or maybe even 15, which was a long time ago. And so I rushed my workouts in my 50s. I acted like I had these speed workouts. I was in hyper overdrive. Why? I was always doing something, hence that Wonder Woman thing, but I was rushing and rushing and rushing my workouts instead of enjoying the moment. I didn't take the time to enjoy each set or take the time to stop and create conversations with my friends at the gym. And I was just in overdrive and not even enjoying my workouts. So I learned, I look back upon it, I spent more time changing clothes in the bathroom and unchanging and changing clothes and rushing, that now it's like I just wouldn't have done that. Now, being 62, turning 63, when I work out every day, I take my time. I enjoy every movement. I appreciate what I'm doing for myself, and I am doing something loving myself and taking care of myself, and that maintenance that makes you feel so good. I don't rush my workouts anymore. If it takes a little more time, it takes time. But that loving myself in my workouts, I don't rush anymore. And if I have to carve out more time, so be it. So that is really important to me because it really sets the tone for my day, and it affects how I feel and how I sleep. It affects my appetite and my mood. So it is a serotonin thing. I mean, working out for me is so important, and it's a major part of my life. I try to at least, do something 6 days a week. But back then I would go to the gym 5 days a week and do something simple on the weekends like walk or whatnot. But that gym time, don't rush if you're in your 50s. Make it valuable and really appreciate being there and stop rushing at the gym or your home workouts or whatever you do. Just carve out the extra time to apply that to your lifestyle so you don't have to rush your workout. So that's really something I look back upon and think, wow, what a lesson I've learned about that. The next one is about alcohol. I did not even drink a drop of alcohol until I was 47 years old because my mother said, ladies, don't drink, smoke, or cuss. Well, she never did. And so being my, impeccable role model that she was, I truly didn't drink any alcohol until that age. And the reason I did was because I saw a show on Good Morning America about the people who live the longest in the world and the 7 continents. And the number one common denominator was Cabernet Sauvignon. And so I went, and I was coaching at that time and my whole swim team, and we all went to Total Wine, and I got the wine. It took me 1.5 years to even drink a shot glass because it was like liquid fire going down my throat. I've never had more than 2 glasses. I've never been drunk. But I have realized it's not a necessity in life. It's just not. So if I could go back into my 50s, it wasn't so necessary. Every time I got together with my friends once a week, we all brought wine. Wine was almost the premise of the visit. We all had a glass of wine together, and it was fun, and it's a great social thing. In my work, every work event I went to, it was all about the wine and what they were serving. But now that I'm turning 63, it's just not important to me, and it was so important. I think it's because I was excited because I'd never, been socially acceptable in that regard. People always would tease me about not drinking. And so I thought it was really groovy, and I was, fitting in with the in crowd because I was having alcohol. Well, guess what? It's not cool, it's not groovy, and it didn't enhance my life one bit. I haven't had a drink in 1 year because it started hurting my stomach. And every time I would drink the wine, I got cramps in my legs. And so one day I woke up and I thought, why am I forcing this? Just to have a social outlet with my girlfriends when they come over to serve wine? And what for? So when my stomach was hurting and my cramps were out of control, I couldn't even step on my foot getting out of the bed. I just cut it off cold turkey. I haven't had a drink in over a year and I have no desire. So, pardon me, has it made my life better? And what lesson did I learn? I don't need the alcohol. I can visit with my friends and not have the alcohol. I serve them alcohol, but I don't need to have it because it's not a necessity in my life, and it certainly doesn't make my life better. Now I feel much better without it. So go figure. I tried it. I learned I don't need it. That was my 50s. And guess what? In my 60s, it's not a necessity. And my life is better without it. My sleep is better. My appetite is better. And I feel like I'm lighter, if that makes sense. I'm lighter and brighter. My skin is brighter. I just can't get over how I notice the difference of when I drank alcohol and when I don't. So it's very apparent to me, which is why lesson learned. Okay, the next one is, my next lesson is I love clothes and I love fashion and I love anything about beauty. And I've always been that way. It's just part of who I am. It's my character. But when I was in my 50s, but predominantly all of my life, fashion is so important to me, but I dressed up every day in the heels, full enchilada from head to toe. I dressed up all the time, but I've been doing this since college. I wore a dress and heels and pearls to go to college, to class every day, because that's who I am. But in my 50s, I look back upon it now and I'm thinking I wore those big high heels every single day, unless I went to the gym. The gym is really the only place that I wore my leggings and my workout gear. But I look back upon it, what lesson did I learn? My feet were killing me all the time. I'd have to come home and rub my feet on rollers. So my lesson there is I really overdressed, just for anything because I love clothes. And I think that's great. But I don't need to wear high heels to go grocery shopping. And I don't need high heels to go to the post office. It's just not a necessity. So lesson learned is that my lifestyle is more casual. I used to dress up so much that in my 60s, I think I just overdid it to the point now where I wear blue jeans every day. And I always wear nice tops. Don't get me wrong. That's still who I am. But I don't wear the high heels unless it's an occasion for it. If my husband and I are going out dancing, I'll wear boots, or whatnot. But I save my heels for a special occasion because I have learned that wearing them all the time was not good for my feet. I even got something on the middle of the ball of my foot. I grew some kind of callus or something from wearing, my foot being inverted like this every day. So lesson learned, in my 50s, I did it. And now I'm the opposite. I wear tennis shoes and I'm comfortable. Now in my 60s, I put on the high heels and I dress over the top when the occasion warrants it. So that was that lesson learned. Boy, I feel so much better in my sneakers. Okay, my next thing is lesson that I've learned, and this is a good one. And this is, I used to stay up so late. I've been a night owl since I was a child because my mom and dad, we would lay in bed together every night at 10 o'clock, watch the news. And then at 10:30, we would watch Johnny Carson together. Every night. It was on weekdays. But I was conditioned as a child to go to bed late, and it never affected my school. It never affected my attention span. It never affected my energy. So I have been ingrained since a child to eat late, go to bed late, and I acclimated, But in my 50s, I was staying up till 1 or 2 in the morning and then getting up, at 5:30, 6 o'clock, working all day, hitting the gym. I was caregiving for my mother. It's like I was going to bed so late and I was eating dinner at 10 and 11 o'clock at night and thought it was normal because it was normal. But guess what? In my 60s, I have truly turned it around. I learned in a few months ago, well, it's been about 6 months, that I go to bed with a 10 on the clock. I have never done this in my whole life. I go to bed early and it takes me a little bit to wind down, so I start everything early. My shower's earlier, I eat earlier. I've never eaten at 5 or 6 o'clock in my whole life, and I am right now, and I love it. I'm eating at a normal time, and then I can have, some yogurt and blueberries around 8 o'clock. I can brush my teeth. I'm in the bed before 10, and I actually crave it. I cannot wait to take a shower. I cannot wait to lotion up and put on my oils and do all my stuff, get in my jammies, and lay in bed. I can't wait. It's unbelievable how my 50s of eating dinner at 11 o'clock at night, I would be showering at midnight and 1 in the morning. I'm not teasing. So now I am doing between 5 and 6 o'clock, I'm hungry, I'm eating. Then I take my shower, and then by 8, I try to have my yogurt and blueberries. I try to eat yogurt every night. It's good for my stomach because that alcohol tore my stomach up. It really did. And so I've been working on that for about the past 6 months, since August. And the yogurt, the coating of it every night, and I give a handsome serving. It's a large amount, and with my blueberries every single night, and it's made an impact on my stomach, my sleep, and I just can't wait to go to bed. So that was a lesson, and I am early to bed, early to rise, and my 50s did a number on me between the alcohol and going to bed late. And even though I didn't drink a lot of alcohol, but just a little bit is enough for your lining of your stomach. At least it was for me. So early to bed, early to rise, I learned in my 50s, and now I know in my lesson learned in my 60s is going to bed early is something marvelous, and I wait all day for it. And I know you shouldn't wish your day away. I'm not wishing my day away. I've been up since 6 o'clock, 6:30, so I go to bed so early that I'm up with the chickens. So go figure. All right, my very last lesson that I learned was spend more time with the people you love. If you've got a family member or friends that you love so much, spend more time with them. That is the most pivotal thing I have learned, because I lost my mother in my 50s and I was caregiving for her. But even friends, but anyone that you love, somebody in your inner circle that you love so much, more than life itself, with every breath you take, spend more time with them. And some people may think, oh my gosh, we're together all the time. It's never enough, especially when you don't have them in your life anymore. Trust me. So spending time with the people I loved, even my girlfriends, just acquaintances, but predominantly with your inner circle of trust, those family members, your neighbor, your friends that are your family, because we can't choose our family, we choose our friends. However, whoever it is that you love so much, I've learned a hard lesson to spend more time with them. So that's it. Those are my 7 lessons that I have learned, turning 63 here shortly, that if I could go back into my 50s, I would absolutely redo it. But don't wish to go back. That's why I'm sharing these things, because I hope you can learn some valuable tools that will help you form decisions and help form your choices, that when you live every day, stop and think, should I change this about myself? Will it make my life better? I suppose that's what I'm thinking. Because if I knew then what I know now, I would have made very different choices. Thank you very much for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun, and I really want you to take a look at your life and see little small things that you can do of the lessons that I went through and what I've learned that will make your future better. Why not? Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and please like and subscribe if you want more content like this. And be ageless every day, because age is a number, but ageless is an attitude. I'll see you soon.